Poveglia, Italy's forbidden haunted island. In the blue waters of Venice, Italy, there lies a small island that most people dare not speak of. An island so cursed that fishermen refuse to cast their nets nearby, and locals won't even sail close to its shores. It has been called the most haunted island in the world, a place of plague, suffering, and death. This is the terrifying story of Poveglia, Italy's forbidden haunted island. Poveglia's dark history begins in the 14th century, when Europe was ravaged by the Black Death. Venice, one of the busiest ports of the time, became a hotspot for disease. To contain the plague, officials used Poveglia as a quarantine zone. Ships suspected of carrying infected passengers were sent straight to the island. The sick were dumped there to die, isolated from the rest of the world. But it wasn't just the sick. Thousands of bodies, plague victims from Venice, were burned on Poveglia in massive pyres. The smoke of the dead filled the skies, and the soil itself became blackened with ash and human remains. It's said that over 100,000 people perished on the island over the centuries. Even today, archaeologists claim that half the soil of Poveglia is made from human ash. As if its plague history wasn't terrifying enough, in the late 1800s, Poveglia became home to a mental asylum. At a time when mental illness was poorly understood, patients were often treated with cruelty. But on Poveglia, the suffering was even worse. Stories tell of a doctor who performed horrific experiments on his patients, crude lobotomies, brutal treatments, and unspeakable horrors. Screams echoed through the asylum walls, and patients begged to leave, but no one was ever released. The legend goes that the doctor himself was eventually driven mad by the island. Tormented by the spirits of those he had tortured, he climbed the asylum's bell tower and threw himself off. Locals say he didn't die from the fall, but that a dark mist rose from the ground and strangled him. Whether myth or truth, the asylum was shut down soon after, but the ruins still remain on the island, silent, crumbling and haunted. For centuries, whispers of ghosts and curses have surrounded Poveglia. Fishermen claim to hear screams at night drifting across the water. Some who dared to step foot on the island have reported shadowy figures moving among the ruins. Others swear they've heard the tolling of a bell, even though the bell tower collapsed decades ago. Visitors who have illegally snuck onto the island often describe an overwhelming sense of dread. Some faint. Some flee after only minutes, convinced that unseen hands were pushing or pulling them. Paranormal investigators who dared to film there have called it one of the most terrifying places on Earth. The air itself seems thick with sorrow, as if the island remembers the suffering of all who died there. So why is Poveglia still forbidden today? The Italian government has officially closed it to the public. Technically, no one is allowed to enter without special permission. Authorities claim it's for safety reasons. The buildings are unstable and could collapse. But many believe the real reason is much darker, to keep the island's terrifying reputation buried. Locals avoid it. Tour guides refuse to speak of it, and boats steer clear of its cursed shores. In 2014, the island was briefly auctioned to private buyers. But even then, no one dared to develop it. It remains abandoned, shrouded in mystery, its past too gruesome to erase. Poveglia is more than just a patch of land in the Venetian lagoon. It is a graveyard of history, from the flames of the plague to the cruelty of the asylum and the whispers of restless spirits. Today it remains silent, abandoned, and forbidden, but its legends live on. So I'll leave you with one chilling question. If you had the chance to step foot on Poveglia, would you dare? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into one of the world's darkest places, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. And let me know in the comments, which haunted place should we uncover next?